Next up in our Jason Nash's Most Toxic Relationship series, we have a video on Jason's channel called My Younger Girlfriend Begged Me to Do This. And as you can see, Trisha's in the thumbnail right there. And this video is actually going to be about Jason going to get a procedure on his lower regions. Trisha actually once bragged about the fact that she said she demanded him to do it, demanded him to get injections in his lower regions to sleep with her more frequently because she wanted to sleep with him more. She bragged about this on the Logan Paul podcast where she said she forced him to do it. But Jason here titles it "My Younger Girlfriend Begged Me to Do This," which he says she begged, she says she forced. I believe she probably did force, but he toned down the language to protect her because he was always interested in protecting her. But let's check out this video and see if we can get any more insight into it. Remember, we're nearing toward the end of the breakup of the relationship where the breakup is going to happen. So we're nearing toward the end of the relationship. So let's see what happens in this video. I will say it's really interesting that she had him do it just weeks before their breakup. So she had him doing the injections to sleep with her more just weeks before they actually broke up. So that's interesting to me. Let's check this out.
All right, I'm going to get my my nether regions looked at. I had a procedure done last week to help me with my
you can't say anything on your channel.
No, I can't say anything.
So he says this is his second injections, that he got one already the first time. He doesn't mention that it's Trisha's idea yet, but the title says it all. But let's keep going and see what more he says.
I had a thing done last week where it would help me with my, underneath. And it's worked great. I have 6 procedures. And so this is my second procedure. And David, the good journalist that he is coming along to cover it for his channel. See if it makes it on there. And they're going to have to pull my pants down, so I don't want you looking, okay?
So, like I said, he said it's his second injection. He will make it clear, I suppose, later in the video that it was for Trisha. I think that's pretty obvious, though, because typically she would complain that they weren't sleeping enough and she wanted to be slept with more. I believe that she tells people that she used to have a boyfriend that would sleep with her like 6 times a day back when she was like in her early 20s or something. I believe she's talking about Anthony and Michael Hall. That's just my guess. But she does kind of put that on most boyfriends, and then she kind of demands that they give her the same amount of attention in bed that her one of her first boyfriends gave her. Jason always used to say I'm old, I can't even do it that often, and she would get mad because she wanted him to show his attraction to her through sleeping with her. So that was always a good point of contention in their relationship. So I guess this was, I wouldn't even call it a compromise if he was forced to do it. But to me, it's clear that Jason was still even trying to make the relationship work at this point to even be doing this. To even be doing this, he clearly cared enough about the relationship to do something that she wanted. I'm forwarding a little just for irrelevant parts that don't matter, so let's see.
This is pretty weird. I don't know if they're going to let him film, but I went last week. I have 6 treatments. This is my second treatment.
And this isn't something we came up with for the videos. I'm actually just tagging along on a real life quest that Jason has.
Yeah, since I have a younger girlfriend.
Okay, sorry, I'm laughing. I'm like a little kid.
Okay, so again, this isn't really for a video. This is something Jason did for his girlfriend, which was Trisha at the time. He did it for her because she wanted to be slept with more, and he wasn't capable of doing it naturally. So she, according to her, she forced him to do this. She demanded it, and even threatened to break up with him, I believe. Where, as he puts in the title, that his girlfriend just wanted him to do it, which, again, I think he's trying to protect her there. Like I said before, I'm bypassing all the irrelevant parts because they don't matter, so I'm going to just keep going to every time he mentions the procedure and his girlfriend.
Oh, creepy guy.
Well, because when you...
David's here, she's like, hey. Okay, I was pretty skeptical.
Of course.
When you told me, I was
this whole thing?
I was really skeptical, and then you brought out the, and I was like,
oh God,
Jesus, what did I get myself into?
Doing? Yeah.
I cannot express
My gratefulness.
the difference.
It's crazy.
It's crazy,
right?
and I don't understand.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
We do this all day long. Do you
So Jason is saying that even just the first procedure, 1 of 6, worked on him. he's saying that it's like mind blowing, it's crazy that it actually worked. Remember, this was at the request of Trisha, or rather, the demand of Trisha. So Jason would not be doing this if it was not for her. But he seems happy with the results. But let's keep going. Okay, next part here. Let's see.
So she's wrapping up her treatment right now. So give her time. Give her about 10 minutes. Okay. And then you know the drill. Hop up on the.
So something that interests me here is that it seems like the person who's going to do the procedure is actually a woman, and I'm kind of surprised that Trisha didn't get upset at that at the time. Maybe she did, but it strikes me as odd because she didn't want women anywhere near Jason. So to have a doctor actually touching him in the lower regions, I would imagine she wouldn't be happy about. Maybe she just didn't know that it was a woman doing it. But yeah, this kind of seems like the kind of thing that she would have a very big issue with. So I'm kind of surprised that he's happily going there as if she doesn't. So as you can see here, the doctor doing the procedure is actually a woman. And I just skipped a little and I noticed that Jason made a very interesting comment. Check this out.
Oh! Yeah, let's do more. Let's do more lighting. Jace, I'm gonna actually start first. I'm gonna go. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Trisha's not gonna like this video.
I'm not gonna like this video. She's about to start the treatment.
You ready?
So I wonder why Jason said Trisha's not going to like this video. I wonder if it had to do with the fact that the woman was handling the procedure and performing the procedure on him, or the fact that David was in the room. I would assume it was a combination of both, or the fact that Jason was, well, he didn't technically film it and show it, but she would likely have an issue if he did. She kind of liked to keep Jason to herself, didn't want anyone looking at him, touching him, anything like that. She was like super jealous when she was with Jason, even though she also tried to get him to do an OF, just like she tried to do with Moses. But I'm assuming that the reason he said Trisha's not gonna like this video is because it was showing footage of the woman doctor, the attractive woman doctor, performing the procedure on him. And I think that she would have had an issue with that because, like I've pointed out in the past and we've pointed out in the past, there was like nobody that Trisha would not be jealous of. Even like older women, even like children, even pets and dogs, just like anyone and anything, like even his own mother, she would be jealous about. So yeah, I can completely see how he would be nervous or worried about her potentially getting jealous even of a doctor, because even, I don't know if you guys, some of you may have seen this video, the one we did where she went to Disneyland with Jason, one of the many times, and she actually got mad that he was talking to a Disneyland employee, or like laughing at the Disneyland employee's jokes during a ride. She got very, like, very, very mad about that and accused him of wanting to basically sleep with her. So yeah, she was that kind of jealous. So it doesn't surprise me that things like this make Jason nervous, especially this kind of thing where it's such like an intimate procedure. Okay, so let's check out what Jason says after the procedure.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, it was great. Can I tell you? Trisha cried.
Why?
She was so touched that I did this. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, that's the nicest.
Oh, that's so nice. Some flowers, maybe.
Hey,
There it is.
So Trisha cried because she was so touched that Jason ended up doing it. This is, his title says that she begged him to do it. Her own words out of her own mouth said that she forced him to do it. So it's interesting that he says that she actually cried and was touched when he actually did go through with doing it because it meant so much to her. Again, this is him obviously doing this procedure strictly for her because he wanted to make her happy and be more active in bed like she wanted him to be. So again, Jason did things for her all of the time and went out of his way for her and catered to her feelings and her wants and her desires. So for people to act like Jason like didn't do much for her ever, but he was willing to do this kind of like procedure strictly for her, goes to show you that Jason was trying to make the relationship work and he was trying to keep it at peace and give her what she wanted. And he even said too that when he was in the relationship, at one point he just like felt like he could not get out of it, that he was like scared and he felt threatened and he just wanted to leave the relationship. But even in spite of all that, he was still doing these things to try to keep the peace and try to keep calm and just try to keep the relationship working and going and, you know, not be the disaster that it was. So I find that interesting personally and a little bit sad that he felt he had to do that when he could have just left, but he was too scared to leave. One thing I also forgot to mention that I want to mention about Brandon is I find it funny that like when Jason was like, "Oh, Trisha cried," like Trisha cried about this. She was so touched. It meant so much to her. The fact that Brandon was like, "This is what she cried about," like not you getting her flowers, not you getting her chocolate, but like something like this. Brandon always kind of called out the relationship and how weird and toxic it was and just how unhinged it was. So I always find Brandon's reactions to the relationship interesting because he was the only person who would straight up really call it out. David would call it out at times, but he kind of like enabled it and supported it because he wanted to keep it going for his own channel. Whereas, and I think because he genuinely was friends with Trisha and Jason and wanted them to be together. But Brandon was more like he didn't approve of the relationship. He made that clear every time Trisha and Jason broke up. Brandon would tell Jason not to get back with her. Brandon has his own issues with his own relationships that we all know about that are completely wrong. But he was the only person who called out the toxicity between Trisha and Jason. It's just a shame that he couldn't even look at his own relationship and think, this is wrong too. But you know what they say, even broken clocks are right twice a day. So after the procedure, Jason went to David's house and he met up with Carly and Aaron, and they all just started talking and just having casual conversation. And then Carly and Aaron both asked Jason, "What do you do on a normal day?" So here's the part where he mentions Trisha.
I most of the time I ride around with David, but if Trish needs me, I gotta go to Trish.
Oh my god, I love this.
She's never even been to Trisha's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
The iconic house. Like, her reactions at the house would be really funny.
That would be fun.
So the reason they're saying that is because they said they want to kind of live a day in the life of Jason. So he was going on about what his life was like, and when he mentions Trisha, they get excited because Carly and Aaron were big Trisha fans. She later actually comes at Aaron and turns on her. Trisha does because Trisha loves to out the blog squad and expose them and try to get the internet to cancel all of them. But Carly and Aaron loved Trisha. They were always super nice to her. They were always very excited whenever she was brought around, whenever Jason talked about her. They loved her. Trisha always seemed jealous of every girl in the vlog squad because she was just jealous in general and she didn't like other women around Jason. But these two were always super fans of her. Like all of the vlog squad were. They were always very nice, but especially these two girls, Carly and Aaron, were like obsessed with her.
Let's
And
plan this.
Trisha's doing a lot of music videos,
Yeah.
so you have to come in and play the leading man, which I've been doing.
One suit.
I
we're in
was
it
dying at
together.
your stories yesterday. I cannot wait for that video to come out because it's like my
Yeah.
Chemical Romance inspired.
Yeah, I got
TJ
down.
was seeing that and he was like, I didn't know that she was like obsessed with this. I want her to DJ emo night now.
Oh yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like being the boyfriend.
But notice too that Carly and Aaron are like gassing up the Trisha Paytas music video of the one that we reviewed last time in the last episode, where Jason was the lead in it. They're like, "Oh my god, it was great!" Like they're such super fans of her. They're so supportive of her. They gas her up all the time. They're really hype about her. Now Jason's about to say, oh, and I will say it's a shame that she just couldn't be accepting back. Like it's a shame that she's so threatened by women that she views all of them as like enemies or like potential threats. But notice here Jason says he doesn't like being the lead love interest because he's very insecure and he just doesn't view himself as like a heartthrob.
In the video.
Why?
Because it's like, okay, Jason, come in here and you're gonna look really sexy, and I'm like,
Like in the Christmas one, I
come on, guys. Oh, I hated that
I
scene.
screamed because I was like,
I hated that whole day.
cute. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet that you're just in this BDM suit. I was like, ah!
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be such a cute video, and then I was like, whoa!
yeah, I didn't like that part of it.
But it's so true.
So notice that the parts that Jason doesn't like about the music videos are the parts where it's like actual, like he doesn't like being seen in that light, especially when he's like a heartthrob in our music videos, and I think when they're actual in general because he has children. So he doesn't like to put himself out there on the internet in the same way that Trisha does because Jason has kids and Jason just doesn't like to expose himself in that way where his kids might run into it. He's always said that. Like it's always been about his kids and he doesn't like doing anything that's like not PG-13 or like not kid friendly because he also knows he has a lot of kids watching his channel.
Trisha, like, it's
Yeah.
I like to keep things cute, you know?
Yeah.
Like right here.
Oh, texty Tina.
Hey, what's the procedure called that you just had done?
Again, his friends are super supportive of Trisha. They praise her all the time. They're nice about it. I'm sure Trisha probably wasn't going to like that joke he just made about Brandon being cute, but he's obviously just being goofy with his friends. Like, it's not a big deal. But I find it interesting that Jason was so insecure that he didn't like to be the lead in her music videos or, like, just known as that kind of heartthrob because he didn't believe he himself was. It had nothing to do with not wanting to film her videos and not wanting to support her. He just didn't view himself in that light. So that was his only holdup, it seemed. So even though Trisha was in the thumbnail of this video, it doesn't appear that she's ever actually in the video. That was the end of the video. She never appears in it. She's only just in the thumbnail to represent who his younger girlfriend that he's talking about is. And she also shares the thumbnail with the doctor, the female doctor, which I'm sure she probably didn't appreciate. Now, I'm going to show you the Logan Paul interview just so you can get a sense of what she said about this time versus what Jason said. So let's check that out. Okay, now here's what Trisha had to say about those injections that Jason was getting. Let's check out her narrative and her perspective.
Angry, like you cannot operate in a normal capacity without just constantly getting down. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I get really angry. Like my last boyfriend, I was always threatening to break up with because he like went with me like 6 times a day.
Who was it?
He's a, I don't want to say his name because everyone's like, stop talking about.
Was it Jason?
Yeah, yeah.
You would make Jason have sex with you 6 times a day.
Yeah, he got.
Now, notice too that she says that she would get really angry and threaten to break up with him all the time if he didn't sleep with her. Imagine now if this was a man doing this to a woman. If a man was getting really angry at his girlfriend and threatening to break up with her if she wouldn't sleep with him. Like forcing her to sleep with him.
Injections for me towards the end. He talked about it on his
Let's
podcast.
go.
Yeah, he was getting these like injections, so he was hard all the time. Because I was like getting.
Also, a needle going into my peen.
Yeah, they jackhammer it. Like.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm out. Woo.
Yeah.
What if you're young and spry and you don't need that?
No, some young guys do it.
Like the guy in the group you're talking.
So notice too how all these guys are reacting because they know how painful that procedure sounds like it is. And actually in the procedure in the video, Jason actually does scream when he's getting it done. Seems like a pretty painful procedure. So her bragging about it and her being proud of the fact that she forced him to not only do it, but forced him to sleep with her so often that he had to do it. Because remember, his title was Girlfriend Begs Me To. She says, I would get so angry I would threaten to break up with him if he didn't do it. So this was his only option then. If he wasn't going to sleep with her all the time, he had to do something about it. So again, imagine if a woman went to go get a procedure done to be able to sleep with her boyfriend more because he was threatening her all the time about if she didn't. Because she would have to face him being angry. She would have to face breakup threats. Imagine. So why is it okay when Trisha does it to Jason, when a woman does it to a man, but it's not okay if a man did it to a woman?
Talking about?
Yeah, because could you?
What's his name, by the way?
I can't.
So I personally find that messed up that people just gloss over the fact that just because he's a man, all these things that were done to him mean nothing. And Trisha herself, when she was on Frenemies, was like, why aren't male victims brought into the spotlight more? Why aren't male victims taken more seriously? And I will show clips of her saying that, of her saying people just let women get away with things just because it's a male victim. But she has benefited off of that exact mentality her whole career. Just because he's a guy, everyone lets go of the fact of what she did to him. Just because Sean's a guy, everyone let go of what she did to Sean. Everyone just glossed over what she did to Moses just because Moses is a man. If any other influencer was a man and they hit their girlfriend and left a big old bruise on them and then continue to be in the relationship, nobody would say, oh my God, it's a fairy tale ending. They ended up having kids together. They got a house together. They're married. Now leave them alone. Nobody would say that. Everyone would be, it would never even get to that point because people would have lost their minds the second the girl came out and said she got hit and she had a picture of it. Yet when Moses gets hit and a picture of that is released where his entire arm is covered in a bruise, nobody bats an eye. It's just okay. I find that to be selective outrage, and I find that to be disgusting that her stands, especially in the internet and mainstream media, will overlook those kind of things simply because of the fact that they like her and relate to her in some way, that they don't really care about what she does to harm people. Because that is what she's doing. She's harming people.
Is like once again that sort of mentality where we always talk about it, where it's like if it's happening to guys, it's like not as serious as if it's happening to girls.
Well, clearly, I
really toxic situation. I mean, I feel horrible for Johnny Depp to be, physically in the society when you're the man being a woman. I do know like that stigma. There's a hashtag Believe Men Too, and like I feel like this is such a huge movement for that because men are victims too. They are. And it was like the believe all victims until it's a man is kind of like bullshit. People not taking domestic violence, physical seriously if it's a man or if it's like a woman doing it to a man. Like it's effed up.
Now, we didn't see much of her in this episode, but she will be in the next episode because that's when they go to Puerto Rico for the Hamilton event. So stay tuned for that because, like I said before, the breakup is coming. The relationship is almost over. We're at the tail end of it, so stay tuned to find out what happens. And as usual, comment below to let me know what you guys agree with, disagree with, what you saw that I didn't see. Any information you have that I didn't mention that you feel is relevant, let me know in the comments below. As usual, I read every single one.